this question is, what are some legal considerations healthcare staffing agencies need to be aware of when it comes to employee benefits? And this is a good one. So we'll definitely have more follow-up on this information. And this really is an excellent question. So there's several legal considerations and requirements, and also there's been a lot of changes. So I've tried to post within the group and on some of their social media platforms, some of those changes. So when you think about benefits, there's the federal piece and then there's the state piece. So at the state level, there's been a lot of changes as far as what you can offer or what you're required to offer. A big part of those requirements is based on the number of employees that you have working for your business. So take that into account. Offering employee benefits is definitely a perk. I think it's an expectation that many employees have. So that's something you need to look into, not all, but many. And you want to make sure when you're offering it that you're staying within compliance around COBRA, FMLA, and the American Affordable Care Act. Because there's so many differences in states, like New York recently brought out some legislation around sick leave. That was a requirement. Also, we saw information in Illinois and California. And one of the biggest difference was requiring companies to offer mandatory types of leave. So I would encourage people, if you're thinking about stepping into that place, or if you think you've reached the number of employees that you want to offer and you have to offer it, definitely connect with a qualified human resources professional or human resources professional company to get insight on what's happening in your state so that you can stay up to date on any regulations. It's an ever-changing place. I posted about New York. I think I posted about California as well. And then staying in compliance is a key part of what you need to do. So that's really key when you enter that round. And then our last question, which of course is kind of a piggyback on this other question, which is, are there any upcoming changes in healthcare legislation that human resources professionals and staffing agencies should be aware of? And yes, there are a lot of changes. I think the two I mentioned here at the beginning and the end would be around mandatory leave. So that's one of the big changes. The other one would be around the conversation on 1099 versus W-2. I think legislation will probably come out this summer that kind of gives guidance and requirements. And then that will kind of piggyback, like any guidance or requirements around the 1099 versus W-2 conversation will really piggyback on the piece of conversation on technology. So a big part of it is the technology piece. So, all right. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll see if we can get them answered. If not, we'll wrap this up. Like I said, we will have this available to you guys to drop questions in the chat. We'll probably do this a couple of more times, but definitely feel free to drop any questions. And we're talking about human resources and healthcare. So that's kind of our conversation today, this afternoon. So if you have any additional questions, drop them. We'll answer them. We'll probably do a couple more sessions in the next coming weeks for you guys, specifically on the healthcare staffing and human resources. So it looks like I've answered all the questions. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. We wanted to keep it short and sweet and give you guys a chance. If something comes up later, feel free. As always, thanks for being a part of the community. Thanks for hanging out with us here this afternoon. We're glad to have you. We'll be back next Sunday. And we'll have more questions to answer with our Human Resources and Healthcare live Q&A session. And thanks as always to the community for supporting our efforts. We're looking forward to seeing everybody, or as many people that can attend, at NOSACon 2024. We're excited to have it again this year just because the industry is going through so many shifts and waves. So definitely make sure to check us out. Click whatever link we have on social media that you follow us on. We'll have all the details about what's happening at our conference in Atlanta, Georgia at the Georgia Tech Hotel and Conference Center. We will have an amazing weekend. We did a great and had an awesome time in Atlanta 2 years ago. Time definitely flies. So looking forward to seeing you guys there. And if you have any questions about NOSACon, feel free to reach out to me. My email is info. I'm gonna drop it here, info@thenosagroup.com, or you can check us out online at www.thenosagroup as well. Thanks as always, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.